Hi everybody, so been looking at using my rotary. There'll be a few cuts in this video because I did some other videos showing the rotary and I'll have to do a voiceover because the mic was too low. So this is LightBurn, as I only use LightBurn. To use a rotary, you have this little icon here, or you have on Laser Tools rotary setup. You have two types. The roller type, or the type that I have at the moment, is the chuck type. We have to make sure that rotary is enabled. On the video you'll see I tried this once with this in reverse rotation and I tried it without, and it did the engraving backwards, but it still did it correct. So I think maybe this only shows an issue when doing text, possibly, but if your images or anything come out gobbledygook, try using the opposite to what this setting currently is. I used the video from Laser Everything to get my settings for the split. I use 0.2 or 0.02 with no overlap. I think this is mainly for if you're doing something that is going to encapsulate a lot of whatever it is you're engraving, the rotation. But using this, it moves in tiny implements instead of doing, say, 5 or 10 millimeters of, say, this flower of life, then moving, then rotating, then doing another 5 millimeters, then rotating, then doing another 5. It doesn't line up properly when it does it in such big increments. So having it doing little steps works just fine. I think it makes the project take a little bit longer, but I'd rather it take time and be correct than do it fast and it look rubbish. I believe this has been updated since Laser Everything done it, because it just had these two options and he's explaining these directions. So if your rotary piece is straight on and it's up and down, then you're rotating on the x-axis. If your rotary is on the side and it's going across the plate, then your rotary is on the y-axis. Mine currently is on the x. I had a lot of problems with mine due to my laser being an enclosure, and these rotaries are massive, so I couldn't fit it in a good position inside the enclosure. It wasn't something that I took into account when I made the enclosure, so that's my bad. But other people will have open space and they can have a choice as to whether they can have it on the side or on the front. So rotary settings, the steps per rotation. There's several different ways you can get this. You can get this by using a line on the rotary and then guessing how many steps, let it move, see if it gets to that line again, then it will go back. If it's too short, increase it. If it's too far, decrease it. Another way is to find an image of, or to find your stepper driver, which is inside the machine, and will look like this. The stepper driver will have switches on the side around about here, and these switches will indicate the current going into the motor and also the steps per revolution. So this one would have the switches on, off, on, off, on. So it would show 6,400 steps per rotation. It could be any of these. If you don't want to, or it's entirely up to you and to your discretion as to whether you open the machine and check the stepper motor, or you can check with the seller of the machine that you purchased. If it's the manufacturer, they would know. So this one is 6,400. Object diameter is getting a diameter of the area you're going to engrave. So mine was a large cup, so I used a caliper and got that measurement by roughly going in the middle of where my diagram was going to be, finding the diameter and then just putting it in. It automatically works out the circumference. These settings I didn't touch at all, and then it's just okaying that, finding the vector or anything that you want to text, and then playing about with your settings. This didn't take me long to find. I think I already had 1,000 speed, and I think I had a 20%. 20% didn't do anything, so I went to 40 and it worked very nicely. 0.025, 90-degree angle, and a single pass seemed to work very nicely with me. I would say if you're gonna engrave tumblers or anything like that, get at least 1-2 practice with to get your settings correct, because you're gonna ruin stuff. You're gonna forget to change some setting, you're gonna put some setting that you weren't meant to, or it's gonna go the wrong way, or that reversing the rotary direction is going to come up as a problem. So definitely have one that you're willing to sacrifice to get your settings correct, and use that first until you get what you want, how you want it. So next I will go to the video of the chucks themselves, and it will be a voiceover, as I said, because the original sound was too low. So it's me explaining the two chucks that I have, the two rotaries, and then I'll show my results from these settings and having a play. Thanks very much. Okay, so this is the first video of one of my chucks. This is the beast one. It's 7.5 kilograms, and I'm not too sure why it needs to be that big when it's rotating a 300 gram tumbler, but it seems to be the standard for most lasers that I've seen out there. So first of all, I'm showing here the plug. There's only one plug on the back of my machine that is remotely close to this, so you can't get that wrong. You can't plug it into something wrong. So here I'm just showing the jaws. There's two sets. There's a key used to open and close the jaws. You have one set of jaws which clamps on, and then you have another set of jaws like these ones which push outward. And what I found out is these jaws actually have to be in a sequence. So here I'm showing that on the jaws, as you can see from left to right, they have a sequence of 1, 2 and 3 going lower, middle and high. This is because inside the rotary is a spiral which allows these to clamp in or move out, and if these aren't put in sequence, then they won't clamp together unally, so your piece will be off balanced when it does clamp. So I'm just showing that there is a sequence to how these need to be put in your chuck. So if something's off when you're clamping down on your piece, it could be because these have been put in incorrectly. So I'm just showing when it is correct. When you tighten these down, they will meet in the center, more or less. So here I'm showing there was a clamp and a wheel in order to tilt the rotary. So when you have pieces that they're not straight tumblers, they have a taper to them, you can actually tilt the rotary in order to be able to make that taper horizontal to your machine. As I'm explaining here, the clamps that clamp out were not big enough. The mouth of this tumbler was too big for the ones that clamp outwards, so the only way I could do this was to clamp onto the bottom, which in hindsight, bare metal on this tumbler didn't go very well. So if you have maybe something like an elastic band or something like that, you could put around the bottom so it doesn't scratch off the I think it's anodized aluminium. So I'm just showing that when I'm using a tumbler like this, I would use this digital level to make it the same zero as the head of the laser. It doesn't have to be the same zero as the earth, it just needs to be the same as the head of your laser, and then you clamp it back down. So this video is a much easier rotary. This is the ring designated rotary. Plug is exactly the same. It's slightly easier to tilt with just this screw and arm. There's no chuck key, it's all done by hand. So you have the two rings, and you'll see me in a minute. I'll be opening and closing the jaws like this. So you just hold one and rotate the other, and it starts moving the clamps in and out. So you can do this all by hand. There's no key needed. So you would have those little prongs on the inside of the ring in order to engrave on the outside, and then you'd have them on the outside of the ring in order to be able to engrave on the inside. And you can tilt the rotary in order to have it 90 degrees in order to be able to do the outside of the ring, and here you can tilt it slightly to be able to get the laser to engrave on the inside of the ring. So this is a video of the engraving actually being done. This is with the rotary rotation reversed. So it's going from left to right. Now, without it being reversed, you can see that it goes from right to left. So with this sort of image, it doesn't seem to be an issue, but other things, it could be an issue, like text. I'll show a couple of pictures of the actual engrave. As you can see, it came out quite well on both of them. Okay, thanks for watching.